One of the hardest things to do is choosing your solo business idea niche so that you stand out in a crowded market. But what exactly is a niche? A niche is a segment in a marketplace. Well, a specialized segment in the marketplace. Think of it like different book genres or movie genres. You're specializing in one particular field or topic, and that helps you stand out more. It's easier for you to find your target audience. It's easier for you to attract people. It's also easier for you to monetize. And not only that, when you focus on one niche, you can align that niche with your skills, your passion, your interests. Think of it like this. A graphic designer that specializes in helping sustainable businesses with logo design. Or another example, compared to a normal graphic designer. Or a book cover designer who specializes in sci-fi books instead of just a book cover designer. A fitness business, right? Helping the professionals or new mothers make time in their schedule for working out. Now, you see, the thing is, you might think, but aren't they attracting a small pool of people? It's a lot easier to attract your target audience when you focus on a small pool of people than on a large pool of people. Let's go to the second point. The second point is you got to identify gaps in the market. Now, identify gaps in the market is going to help you stand a lot better. In the previous video, I spoke about how you got to figure out what people's problems and pain points are and provide a solution for them. And the same thing is here. Look at your competitors and figure out what are they not targeting? What are they not talking about? What are their weaknesses? What new experience can you bring to the marketplace? Some people say it could be anything, like your personality, the way you approach something, your lingo. Maybe you were, I don't know, like you had some tragic backstory and you managed to build a business from that. Maybe you're helping college graduates be better with their finances. Maybe you're helping people retire early. Instead of retiring at 65, they're retiring at maybe in their 30s or their 40s. Maybe you help people in their 20s invest in their money. I don't know why I'm talking about investment stuff, but my point is you got to figure out what the gap is in the marketplace and then provide a solution to whatever that problem is. A perfect example is Rami Sethi,
I'm Ramit Sethi. I'm a New York Times bestselling author, and I teach people how to live their rich life.
who years ago came out with a book called I Can Teach You to Be Rich. Now, he found a gap that there was nothing lining psychology with finance. And that's exactly what he did. Teaching people psychological tactics they can use to approach finance and make money a lot easier from that. That was his gap. That was how he stood out in the crowded marketplace. If you want to figure out how to do this and you don't know, you could go to Answer the Public, ChatGPT, Google Keywords, Google Trends is another one, and figure out what gaps are there. Again, you could also look at your competitors. If you know what your niche is, you look at your competitors, you figure out exactly what your competitors aren't doing or what gap you could fill in. So as I mentioned, pain points, you gotta do your audience research to figure out what the pain points are. Like in the previous video, Facebook groups is a great way to do it if you don't have an audience. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, those are great ways to figure out what your audience's pain points are. Another thing, as we're going down the list, is how to validate your idea. Now, validating your idea could be done through several ways. Surveys, polls. You could also go on Facebook groups as well. You could also ask your friends as well, especially if they're interested in the same things as you are. You could also do like a beta testing thing. Ask a group of people, your friends on Facebook, and ask them, hey, I'm doing this thing. Do you guys mind if I ask you a few questions? That's a great way to validate your idea. Another great way to validate your idea, and this is what I did, was I went to something that I was knowledgeable about and that I knew what gaps I could fill in, and also something that I knew more about. When you don't have much knowledge about a particular topic, even if you're skilled at it, it could be difficult for you to figure out whether this idea works or not. Because experience breeds into knowledge, and often when you spend so much time on one particular thing, you become knowledgeable on it without you even trying as much. Like you could be watching, let's say, 2 or 3 videos a week on this particular topic. By the end of the year, you have more knowledge than most people with a college degree. I know it's crazy how that works, but analyzing your competition is also pivotal. You got to figure out what their weaknesses are. I said this in the other video, but you got to figure out what your competitors' weaknesses are so that you could help your clients better. And we tend to think that, it has to be a huge change. Like you gotta stand out the marketplace in this drastic way that people will be like, oh wow, here this person comes. Often it could be simple things. Like for example, a colorful person, you love color, and your website basically is all to do with color. You love big fonts. You love wide, vivid colors, okay? Compared to your competitors whose, web pages are bland, okay? Maybe you're more talkative or you're more, colorful with your language or, you love telling stories, okay? You're more visual when you're describing something or you love weird analogies. Another thing is maybe you're cheaper than your competitors. Maybe instead of you charging 500, $600 for a particular product or 200 something dollars for a particular product, you can charge anything from 30 to $90 for that product. So it all comes down to a lot of factors, but you just got to figure out what is the middle, like the middle ground, okay? Where you're like, okay, I'm right in the middle. Like my competitor is doing this, I'm doing this, but I'm also doing what they're doing, so I fall right in the middle. Okay. Another thing, you gotta start small and just test. Test if it works. And often, a lot of the times, testing just means trying it out. Like going on Facebook, asking question, asking whether people would like this idea, asking if people would want to know more. Going on TikTok and creating a TikTok account. It's a lot easier on TikTok to get a new audience than it is on Instagram. So you can test your idea using TikTok and see if there are people interested in it and see how it goes. Like maybe you say, I'm going to test it for a month or two, which I usually suggest you should test it for a month or two to figure out if it works. And then as you grow your audience, right, it'll be a lot easier for you to understand whether this works or this doesn't, whether your niche is a good niche or whether it isn't. There's some niches that are so obscure that not a lot of people want to know about. So it all comes down to you just testing and figuring out whether there is a demand for it. Okay, the last thing is, finding the right niche is all about validating your idea, but it's also about finding a unique angle, a unique approach, a unique way of looking at something that not a lot of people do. Let's say you're going on YouTube. They're the creators that are creating 20, 30 minute videos. And then there are ones that are creating 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 minute videos. Those two videos attract two different audiences. One that likes longer form videos, and the other one that likes shorter videos. Now it all comes down to what audience likes what. At the end of the day, all these tips and tricks can only work if you put in the effort and if you put in the time. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure that you subscribe, you like, you comment, so that you're always notified whenever a new video comes out.